You know, we've all been there, looking at an older engine and just imagining all the years of gunk and sludge built up inside. But what if a motor oil came along and said it could do more than just protect your engine? What if it claimed it could actually reverse all that damage? Well, a new product is making that exact promise, and today we're going to find out if it's the real deal.
And there it is, straight from Valvoline. I mean, listen to that claim. Not just cleaner, but factory clean. They're talking about removing up to 100% of piston deposits. Just think about that for a second. That is a massive, massive promise. But can a simple oil change really do all that? Can it turn back the clock on your engine? So that's the big question, right? Is this just some really clever marketing hype, or is it some kind of engine magic in a bottle? Well, today we're going to cut through all the noise. We're going to look at some independent, real-world proof to find out what's really going on.
All right, so let's take a closer look at the product that's making this wild promise. Valvoline Restore and Protect. Its entire identity, its whole reason for being, is built on this idea that it can make your old engine new again. And just look at how they're framing this. They're not talking about just preventing new sludge. No. They claim this stuff actively reverses the old baked-on buildup and brings your engine's performance back to life, all because of some mysterious patented molecule. So the stakes for their claim couldn't be higher. But hey, the potential payoff for your engine? Even higher. Okay, so promises are easy to make, right? Talk is cheap. What we need is proof. We need to see what actually happens when the oil hits the engine in the real world. And for that, we're turning to an independent test from the YouTuber Fix-It Tony. He grabbed a Chevy Avalanche with a super common LS-style engine, you know, the kind you find in millions of trucks and cars out there. And he just did a simple oil change. He swapped in the Restore and Protect. The mission was simple: see what happens after just one cycle. So after that first oil change, Tony popped off the valve cover to take a look. And you can see it right here. Is it cleaner? Yeah, for sure. You can see some of that nasty baked-on varnish is definitely gone. But is it sparkling factory clean? Not yet. As Tony points out, this is clearly going to be a gradual process. But here's the thing, and this is so important. All that gunk that's getting cleaned off, it has to go somewhere, right? So the most important clue isn't what's left on the engine parts. It's what's been captured and trapped deep inside the oil filter. That's where the real proof is hiding. So Tony did exactly what you or I would do. He grabbed that old oil filter, took it over to his bench, and cut it wide open. And what he found inside, well, that turned out to be the whole story. You have got to hear the pure shock in his voice. This wasn't just some dark oil. He calls it straight sludge. Now, when an experienced mechanic says that's the most he's ever seen in a filter, you know something pretty incredible is happening. So let's be really clear about what he found in there. A ton of sludge and gritty carbon deposits? Oh yeah. But here's the crucial part, the part you really need to pay attention to. What wasn't in there was glitter. You know those fine metal flakes that tell you your engine is wearing itself away? That is huge. It means this oil is dissolving the bad stuff, not grinding away at the good stuff. This is cleaning, not damage. Okay, so we've got proof positive that the oil is pulling out sludge. So the next question is, how is it doing that safely? Because, you know, just aggressively ripping deposits off can actually be catastrophic for an engine. And this right here explains everything. You see, an old-school aggressive engine flush, it's like taking a power washer to the inside of your engine. It blasts off huge chunks of gunk all at once. And the risk? Well, those chunks can get stuck and clog up the tiny little oil passages, starving your engine components of lubrication. That's a recipe for disaster. This oil is totally different. It's a slow, gentle clean. It dissolves those deposits over time, suspending them safely in the oil until the filter can grab them. Slower is safer, period. So what exactly is this secret patented molecule, anyway? Well, Valvoline's not talking, but Fix-It Tony has a really compelling theory: boron. We all know boron from things like laundry detergent, right? It's an amazing cleaner. But here's the cool part. It's also an incredibly slick molecule. It's a great lubricant. So it could be doing two jobs at once, gently dissolving all that gunk while also protecting the metal parts underneath. All right, so we've seen the marketing promise, we've seen the real-world tests, and we've got a pretty good idea of how it works. So let's bring it all home and answer the one question that really matters. After all of that, let's just cut to the chase. Does this stuff actually do what it says it's going to do on the bottle?
And the answer, based on the undeniable evidence sitting in that oil filter, is a definite yes. It absolutely, positively removes engine sludge. But, and this is a big but, you have to understand that this isn't a magic wand you wave over your engine. It's a long-term treatment. It's a process.
So how long are we talking? Well, based on his experience now with over a dozen cars, Fix-It Tony estimates you're going to need to commit to somewhere between 3 to 5 full oil change cycles to see those really dramatic factory clean results Valvoline is advertising. Patience really is the key here.
So let's just boil this all down into what you need to know. First, yes, it works. The proof is right there in the filter. Second, slow is safe. The fact that it's gradual is a feature, not a bug. Third, be patient. You got to commit to a few oil changes to get the full effect. And finally, a little pro tip. You might want to change your oil filter a little more often at the beginning. It's going to be working overtime catching all that gunk.
When you really think about it, this whole thing just shows how much can be going on inside our engines, totally out of sight. Which kind of leaves you with one last question to ponder. After all those years and all those miles, what's hiding inside your engine?